Hey boyos, daily check-in with John V. June 4th, 2025. Yeah, it's June already. I can't believe it. I didn't rehearse this video at all. I usually don't, but a couple things I want to go over. Um, the Misk Me Yet troll. I really think it's a troll because if it's a woman, she's got some serious personal issues, especially if she's an avid misker like she is. Because the Misk attracts some really weird characters, and she seems very insecure about herself with a lot of personal problems. And I mean, I'm doubtful that it's even a woman, because how hard is it to just whip out your phone and make a video of yourself? I mean, like, I'm styling on her because I don't just deliver pictures, I deliver fucking videos every day. No, I know that's saying a lot about my personal life and how my life is probably really fucking boring if I'm misking all the time, but we're all in the same boat together. We all have the same shitty, personal life if we're misking all the time. If I had things going on in my life, like if I was a healthy body weight and ripped, life would be better automatically. And I would be misking very little, especially if I had a committed girlfriend and an actual social life. Because like without much money, which is my situation, I can't do anything. I can't even go to the game store to play cards. Like the um, the company is racking up the price on Magic cards, right? And like it's just ridiculous. Four commander decks of Final Fantasy is like $1,300 online. That's ridiculous. And the company has wanted to like triple or quadruple their revenue in the next couple years, and they're going to do it because hardcore Magic fans will pay whatever they need to. And when I went to the game store, a lot of the Magic players were, they were quite well off. A couple military guys, each making about 100K a year, and 100K a year to someone like me is a lot of fucking money. That's not pennies. Like, I make pennies. $962 a month, and I have boyos on there and trolls, including like the Miss Me Yet troll saying, you can't live on 1,600 a month. That is bullshit. That's someone who's addicted to expensive lifestyle, and the automatic defense to something like that is, well, I have expensive tastes. Everybody has expensive tastes, okay? It's not just you. I'd love to go to a upscale restaurant, spend $1,000 on a fucking meal, fucking a lobster tail and some other shit. I don't even know what expensive food is, but I could easily rack up a big grocery bill if I was eating lobster tail every day and fucking expensive $50 a pound steak. I live within my means though, right? And you don't realize how little you can actually live on until you're actually in the situation. So, but enough about trolls. I am lifting again. I've been pretty committed for the past, what, 5, 6 days? And I've made it a point of lifting every single day, not missing a day, not taking days off. Days off, some will say, is for the weak, the unmotivated, because your competition is not taking days off. Well, the thing is, it depends, right? If you got some really active job doing manual labor, you might need to take days off from the gym, especially if you have like 2 or 3 hour long workouts. But like with what I'm doing, less than an hour every day, and I don't have a physically active lifestyle, 45 minutes a day is nothing. I can easily bounce back from that, right? I could probably handle quite a bit more. I could probably handle an hour and a half of lifting, I think. But the thing is, I don't want to get bored of it. So I don't want to, be all zealous and gung ho about lifting and lift for like 3 hours every day and then give it up after a week because I got bored as shit of it, right? I'm not going to do that. I've had friends used loosely. They talk about going to the gym and they're going to start doing 4 hour long workouts, use every machine in the gym like it's some kind of, penchant of honor or accomplishment that they're going to use every machine. And it's like, you don't have to use every fucking machine. Get under a fucking heavy bar and do some squats. Do some bench press, right? You use these fancy machines that do shit, right? You know, and they don't understand. Like people that don't lift, you can't talk to them about a lifting lifestyle because it's a different language to them. They don't understand it. Because I still remember what I was like when I first started lifting when I was 18. And to me it was like, well, why would I lift weights when I can pile firewood or mow a lawn? Isn't that going to make me get big muscles? And it doesn't, because doing activities like that, it's cardio. That's all it is. It's just really inefficient cardio, really light cardio. It's not difficult for most people unless you're in piss poor shape, right? If you're in piss poor shape, then yeah, it probably would benefit you to pile some firewood and mow a lawn or two. But for most people, that's a reasonable body weight and not in piss poor shape, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day with a bunch of health problems. You know, piling some firewood and mowing a lawn, it's just a time waste. Unless you're getting money, you're getting paid to do it, then sure. But I know a lot of you boys, you make so much money, it wouldn't be worth your time to mow a fucking lawn for pay. you know, and I have so many health problems. I'm so out of shape, so fat, and I smoke so much that I can't even handle doing something like mowing a lawn unless it's a ride-on lawnmower. And then the 80-year-old grandma, she can probably just fucking do it herself if it's right on, right? So, but yeah, misc is kind of frustrating sometimes. It, the thing is, I try to make it a point to not make sense of the misc sometimes, because if I did, it would make me go crazy, because the misc doesn't always make sense, right? And especially, the typical woman is not that hard to deal with, but you get the occasional one that is. And, you know, like Red Melly and Kim 4, shout outs to them. Like, they're easy to deal with. They're not trolls. They're not there to just push people's buttons and talk shit and, you know, sit at home with their cats and just fight with other trolls on the internet, right? My little experience with Red Millie and Kim 4, it's all been good. It's all been good. Nothing bad I can say about them. You know, they pay respect to me, I pay respect back, and we have an understanding. But you get certain female trolls, and you just can't talk to them. They just they want to have the misc on ignore and talk to themselves. It seems like, and some people are just really insecure. Uh, I'm kind of an insecure person too, but I know people that are just riddled with insecurities in real life, and I can't handle those people. I cannot handle those people. They get jealous over the slightest things. They're so insecure about themselves and their appearance and their capabilities and their personal relationships. I can't handle people that are riddled with insecurities, because I'm a product of my environment and who I socialize with. And if I associate with crazy people, I will become crazy, right? And I think that's the case with a lot of people. You know, I think I'm a little more sensitive in that way, because if I associate with people that are very jealous, I become a very jealous person, and I don't like being jealous. Jealousy is a scary feeling, right? Jealous people are capable of anything, typically. Let's fix this camera a little bit. But I've pretty much had ties cut with most of the friends I've had. The close friends I've had. The casual friends I have that I might see a couple times a year, you know, as far as I know, they're still there for me, because I hardly ever see them. Hardly ever associate with them, right? It was the people I would consider my close friends, they're all gone, right? And there was a few of them. Some of them I cut off. Some of it was mutual. Some of them cut me off, right? And it's when you lose those friendships, you start to see those people for what they really are. And all the relationships that I had end, all the friendships I had end, they were all toxic. They were all fucking toxic. They were all long term friendships that I had had for, 15, 20, 25 years or longer. And they had become toxic over time. And, you know, as a 41-year-old man, my advice to people is with your friendships, you keep a distance. Don't associate with the same people every fucking weekend. It just because when people become too comfortable around you, the same people, the relationships become toxic. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Right? I'm only me. I don't know what it's like to be other people. Right? But I'm doing really well with lifting. I've just, I put the pedal down and just, I've got to get in shape. So that's what I'm doing. And, I'm putting the emphasis on pressing exercises and just chest and shoulders mostly. I'm emphasizing, and secondary focus on the back, arms, and legs. The fuck is that noise? But in an 8-day cycle, it's gonna be 4 chest and shoulder workouts and 2 back workouts and 2 leg workouts. So twice as much chest and shoulders. Just because I want to look good in a shirt. I want to have a good chest and shoulder area. Back's important. Like all the muscle groups are important, but I don't give a fuck about legs, right? But my legs should be somewhat developed. I don't want them to be like twigs, because it's a real pain in the ass. Don't train your legs for a long time, and you're not overweight, and people will automatically point out, oh, your legs are small, and it's like, who gives a fuck? I'm not fat like you, so what do you expect? But it's such a pain in the ass, right? So I train legs a bit. I train back a bit because, the back does help fill out the shirt, and with back comes biceps, right? And biceps are important for filling out a shirt sleeve as well. But the most important, I think, is chest and shoulders, right? Those are the beach muscles right there. Those are the fucking beach muscles. Those are the ones that really matter. And like I do a bit of squatting and deadlifting. I love deadlifting, right? So I'll deadlift, that's no problem. But I throw the squats in too, 2 times every 8 days, just to get that outer quad sweep to give you the X shape. V shape is fine, but you want the X shape, right? And the outer quad sweep, you get from squatting, high bar squats. So I don't care about having enormous legs. I'd like to have big legs, but I don't want to do the work that it takes to get big legs, right? I want to have the outer sweep more developed than the rest of the leg, just to give the X shape to the body, right? And I could work out an hour and a half every day and shorten rest periods between sets and exercises and really pile on the work. But I don't want to make myself sick of working out, right? I want to be excited for my training session, not dreading it. And if I, you know, cut off too large of a workout for myself, I might dread it. I'll be like, oh fuck, this is gonna be hard. I don't want to do it. I'll get that feeling, and I don't want to have that feeling. And also because I don't want to make myself bored of it. I want it to be something fun and exciting I do with my day. I know training doesn't have to be fun. It's gonna be boring, but you got to find the sweet spot where it's enjoyable to a point, reasonably enjoyable. Obviously, if you're doing something, the more you do it, the more boring it's going to typically be. And if I worked out for like 4 hours every day, I would get pretty fucking sick of that really fucking quick. Right? And like I could probably train for 3 4 hours a day and get results, but I'd be so sick of working out after just a training session or two. And so many non-lifters I've known, and they'd have these big dreams. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start working out 4 hours a day, use every machine in the gym. Like it's some sort of great accomplishment to use every machine and max out every machine. Like nobody cares if you can max out the you know, fucking curl station or the fucking lag extension station. Nobody cares. You know, what they care about is how much can you squat, how much can you bench, how much can you deadlift, how much can you curl, how much can you overhead press, right? Shit like that. Nobody cares about these machines, right? And gym noobs, they're always all about the machines. That's that's my experience from the guys that I've known. They would be all about the machine work and not want to do the actual real exercises that build up a good base, right? I don't even want to squat. I wish, like, I'd love to just do leg curls and leg extensions and leg press because it's easy. You know, it's fucking easy. You don't have to stabilize weight. But, what's hard is what's going to work, not the fucking easy shit. If you're like some genetic freak and you just lift a brick and you get bigger and stronger and more muscular, well, that's great, but that's not me, right? I have pretty average genetics overall, I think. I have weaknesses, I have strong points, but overall I'm pretty average, I'd say. And typically, like 70% of people are going to fall in the average, normal area for muscle building and strength building genetics, right? You got like 20%, they might have shit genetics, 10% have good genetics, right? I'm not the 10%, I'm not the 20%, I'm the 70%. I'm in the normal range. And I've lifted off and on long enough to know where I fall on that spectrum. And new lifters, they'll cut off, a training session for themselves that's like 4 hours long, and they might do it for a week, and they'll come to me confused and be like, I don't understand it. I've been working out 4 hours every day for a week, and I haven't gotten any stronger. And I tell them nobody works out for 4 hours a fucking day. Nobody does that. Like, right? And don't you have a life to live that doesn't revolve around working out, right? Like, if you're jacked up on steroids and it's your job to work out, then yeah, work out 4 hours a day. But typically, people aren't going to have meaningful results to working out 4 hours a day, because most people don't even know how to work out properly. So, like, even me, I get called out sometimes on the misc with my videos telling me I'm doing an exercise wrong. Does the exercise that I'm doing wrong gonna give me zero results? No, but it may not be, suitable for long-term progress, right? It's often a form problem, like with the lateral raises. It's just a form problem, and it's not a very important exercise. So if I'm doing it really sloppily, it might not really matter. It's more important to get the bench press right, the chin ups right, the deadlift right, the squats right, right? It's right to get the primary exercises right, but that doesn't mean I should fuck off on the lateral raises, do them wrong. Like, I will make an attempt to do them better, right? And I've already noticed, like, the short term benefit of training my side delts is already apparent just from the few training sessions I've had that are doing lateral raises, right? And I was kind of doing them wrong, but yet I was still getting benefit. But you get these idiots, they want that, they've never really worked out before, and they get these dreams of doing 4 hour long workouts, like I was saying, and it's mind boggling because people treat it like it's the same as piling firewood or mowing a lawn. That, you know, the way I used to think when I first started lifting when I was 18 was, why would I lift weights when I can go in a hayfield and haul hay? That's going to give me big muscles or whatever. And like when I seen a picture of a bodybuilder that was on steroids, it blew me away because I didn't really see pictures like that of bodybuilders on steroids until I was in high school because I was so sheltered. I never seen shit like that. I didn't even know what the internet was until like high school. And I didn't understand why professional bodybuilders looked like that. And my friend told me because they take steroids and work out. And my obvious next question was, well, why do they want to look like that? And why don't they just do work? Why don't they do manual labor? And I was very ignorant. as most people are who's never weight trained before. And I just thought manual labor is going to have the same effect as lifting weights. And some old guys who've never trained before, they're always ignorant too, and they think that, doing manual labor is better than lifting weights. And it's not that one is superior to the other. It's just, it depends what your goal is, right? And I got no problem with manual labor. Manual labor has its place, but the purpose of manual labor is not to get stronger, it's to make a wage. So, people don't say, I'm gonna, dig this grave overnight um, to get stronger. I'm doing it because I want to make my $25 an hour or whatever the fuck it is for grave digging. So, but boyos, it's been 20 minutes. I've rambled on long enough. So I will upload this and I'll see you guys on the MISC.